everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to Once on the Tour. Welcome back. If this is your 11th The Rookie Season 5 episode review, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world that we live on planet Earth. And once again, I am right. I was on Twitter this entire week when everyone started clamoring that, oh, there is a maturity warning attached to this week's episode of The Rookie. And everyone just assumed, oh my God, it's time. We're finally getting, bro, have you all not read the papers, the interview? They clearly said before, it's going to take some time, bro. They just had their first date. I know, first time, every couple's different. I understand that. I get that. I completely understand that. But the thing is that we waited so long. You waited so long for just them even thinking about this idea. And you've gotten so much in half a season. So chillax. Patience comes with due diligence. And that is a mild spoiler for the episode where that doesn't happen. But we do get something else, which I'm honestly, they're doing it smartly. If that's a word. I don't know if that's a word. I might have just made that up. This week's episode of The Rookie, the reason why they had the maturity warning, it makes a lot of sense to the storyline they were doing, and honestly, it was something I completely forgot they haven't done yet on The Rookie, and it only makes sense for a certain character to handle that storyline properly. As well, we had a lot going on this week, but it all felt natural. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt too constricted, and it definitely felt more of again, they're paving the ground. They're definitely they're starting to plan what the end game is going to be for this season, and that's what I'm excited about. Because we got to return to some faces, we got some ideas popping into people's head, and I'm just saying, we have the potential. I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I'm pretty sure they're just going to stick it to one show, but they do have the potential to make this a bigger deal, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. But with that being said, let's go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of The Rookie. So we began properly with the maturity warning, saying that this week's episode would have suggested mature themes that are very serious, that is not just meant to be taken for granted. Just because it's on a TV show doesn't mean it's not a problem in the world. So please, just letting you know that. But anyway, so we begin, Nolan and Selena are answering a house call. Supposedly they think it's a robbery. They're prepping everything for the initial report. However, it turns out to be for a VR world theft, which I'm like, how do you even steal from a VR world? I don't know. That's a weird thing that I don't have the answer to. But anyway, Nolan puts on the VR headset for just for shits and giggles, because poor Nolan, he always gets the butt end of the stick, and he puts himself in the VR world where he's literally falling through the sky into the ground. He takes it off because he thinks it's too realistic. And ironically, when the actual the intro and the logo play, we actually get to see Nolan falling to the ground in the freaking intro, which I'm I love this show so much. I really do. We cut over back to the Nolan residence where John is looking at some more correspondence from, other, realtors that want to put Nolan's house in the map, which I'm bro, Nolan barely had the house for 2 years. I know the recession is hard, but give them a chance. They're doing fine financially. That's not the issue there, but no one's getting fed up that he just moved in and, he's already being asked for, hey, you want to sell your house? I'm bro. Damn, it's been a while since we've seen her. Bailey is considering, finally selling her place because, now that she's about to basically move in full time with Nolan, it only makes sense for her to let go. But Nolan's like, well, we can still use it as a passive income source, which I'm smart thinking, John, smart thinking. Where, if Bailey's charging $2,000 for the house and, the mortgage is only, she's charging $3,000 for rent and she's only getting $2,000 for I forgot, $2,000 for the mortgage, rent is $3,000, so she's making an additional $1,000 per month, which is again, that's passive income, or you can increase the mortgage payments if you want to, but basically, yeah, she's making a lot of money. But she's well, the couple that lives there, they're kind of behind on rent, and no one's how much behind on rent? And she's 6 months, and it's bro, that's $18,000. That's not chump change. It seems like a lot, but when you we're not even getting to the rental tenant thing, but my brain's I already had enough of that personally this week, so I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm not gonna really go into detail on that. But I was you know what, I'll handle it. We are partners. I will take care of this during my duty, and we will get this, arranged pretty quickly. We're heading back to the station where we got like back-to-back Nolan scenes. Damn, like we really do not cut the pace here. We're in the break room. Bradford's is making a coffee about the new coffee machine, which is like more of like it's more like a cafe style coffee machine, which I'm like, bro, these officers are tired already. They do not need complication of like turning and twisting a knob. Just press a damn button. I honestly agree with Bradford. That's like they do not need this complex machinery. But Lucy, being the more tech savvy one, being the more like on the social media side of things, she immediately figures that thing up with a T. Nolan asked them what they were doing last night. Obviously, again, not being aware that they are dating right now. Bradford stupidly has no excuse for his recollection, but thankfully Chen manages to come up with something to kind of bypass the conversation, and then Nolan heads off, and Chen chooses out Bradford just a little bit. Like, they're trying to hold their ground. They're trying to, make sure this is like kind of just a secret safe relationship right now, and Bradford's not doing the work. He's got to have a creative mindset over here. Like, I know Bradford's always like to the T, straight and narrow, but like, nah, man, you gotta think of stuff. You gotta think of stuff. But anyway, where do we go from here? There's a lot of subplots today, so I'm really curious what's going on. Oh yeah, so the Lopez and Harper just shooting the shit a little bit. They're not on a case right now. Lopez's brother, who we got to see in the family episode last year, shows back up. I forgot his name. It's probably Damien, or it starts with a D. I know that. It could be Damien, but he shows up. He's requesting Lopez's help on a matter because someone that he's tutoring and someone that he's advising is a gang member that's willing to get out of the let's say I don't want to say service, but like out of the gang. He wants to get out of the gang. He wants to have a fresh start. He's been helping him. The problem is that he hasn't been seen for a while, and he wants to ask Lopez if he can find a way to track him down, and bring him back in. Lopez is like, yeah, no problem. Anything good doing. Like, again, he is was part of a gang or trying to get out of a gang, so he might have some information that would be beneficial to us. So it's a win-win. Nolan and Selena decide to make a pit stop over to the Bailey's tenant's house or her house, and Juarez is being a little bit indirect, saying that like, yeah, you and Bailey are the nicest people on the planet. You might even say we'll be the nicest couple on the planet. There's absolutely no way you can be landlords. Landlords have to be tough. They have to have moments where they're really ready to literally cut someone. And no one doesn't got it. But like, no one's like, I got this. I'm going to play the nice guy chart. They're going to understand it. I'm going to be a little strict. I'm going to get it done. So he opens the door. Very sweet. Not even old couple. They're like they're like at the end of the middle age. Like, they don't look that old. They don't really, in my opinion, they don't look that old. And, they're like giving the traditional excuses like, oh, our money's tied up somewhere. We understand. And, we'll get it to you by Wednesday. We'll just get that done. And you know what? Also, we're gonna have to take a couple $100 off because there's some issues with the house that hasn't been prepared yet. And I was like, you know what? I'm an old contractor. I could definitely help fix up this place, and I'll be back on Wednesday to pick up the back rent. Which I'm like, no, and you stupid lovable fool. Why would you give them an ounce of niceness the moment you do? You gotta, you screw yourself. You dig the pot you dig the hole even so he's like just ready to like rip him a new one. But he's like, no, he's my superior. I gotta respect the boundaries, even though I slept at his house for multiple nights. Not that way. Meanwhile, Bradford and damn, it's only been a week, but I'm like, damn, I'm really off my game already. Aaron are also driving around. Aaron has a plan to kind of boost Mid Wilshire's presence on social media because yes, that's a thing that's happening. But honestly, it is valuable. I did take a class in college where they taught policing the community is a strong thing. Remember season 3, that was a very important season about that front. And it's nice that they're still continuing that front piece by piece, just not in the ways I was expecting it, but it still fairly works. Where do I go from there? Yeah, so they're pitching that idea, and Brad says, you know what, take it up to the commander, take it up to him. He'll definitely hear you out. And Aaron's like, you just want to see me get rejected? It's like, bingo. Bradford gets a call from his sister, who is at her son's baseball practice. Some shit's about to go on, an aggressive parent with the coach. By the time they get there, it's really escalated to a whole new level. And I don't understand baseball terminology, so I'm not even going to bother trying to recap this segment. It ends with the mom punching the coach, obviously because she assaulted someone. She's getting arrested, And the coach decides to quit because, like, he's doing this for free. And I'm like, that's confusing because he said, oh, I'm basically doing this for free. And they're like, well, we're charging you for this. And I'm like, I'm so confused. And I don't get it. I swear to God, unless my friends decide to put my kids through this, I am not signing my kids up for baseball. I'm not any sporting practice. They want to do that. They're doing it voluntary. I'll be at the games. I won't even be at the practice. I'm just being honest with you and direct on that. Anywho, where do we go? So they're out, and considering the fact that this is the third coach that has, been let go, basically, for lack of a better term, this season, Bradford decides, not Bradford, Ginny's like, you know what, we might as well just shut down the season. It's just like too much right now to like go find another coach this leading to the season. And, Aaron has the bright idea to say, why not Bradford? You could be an amazing coach. And she's like, that's a great idea. You could be more involved in your nephew's life. And Bradford's like, Bradford who? Who's doing this? Who is this Bradford? Like, I'll give it this. Bradford having much more of like a more comedic drive, like in these weird moments since he and Shan decided to go start dating, which I'm like, it's been a great creative decision. It really has been. Bradford's drafted to be the coach for the team. Lucy is not on the patrol today. She's actually teaching Citizens Academy. What is that fancy terminology? It is basically just a day class where any random civilian can just, sign up and they can learn some of the basics of policing. Maybe to be interested to be police officers and stuff. Maybe to just know what really is going on behind the scenes at the police station. Who really knows? You can basically sign up. The only background criteria is you got to have a background check. And for some reason, 2 idiots decide with felonies to show up. I don't know why, but like, okay, sure. And then someone who clearly has an arrest warrant on them is also there, which I'm like, what is your... Wait. You purposely knew you stole something. You know you could get arrested. And yet you still decide... I'm gonna go to this active police station just to see this class for whatever, regardless of the case might be. And also another thing, apparently screenwriters tend to go to apparently Citizens Academies to get this examples the police officers might give them as like to make them understand the material, but then they take the idea in order to like write it into their scripts, which I'm like, I'm gonna contact George, my usual co-host, my friend. I'm gonna contact him and just ask him about this. I don't know if it's true or not. I wouldn't be surprised. However, the only important thing about the Citizens Academy is that one of these students asked the question about domestic violence, and that what is the protocol in terms of like if a domestic violence call was called about a house, and Lucy's being blunt honest and saying that once we're there, we immediately have to arrest someone, whether that is the poor person who called for falsifying a fake police call or the actual abuser, if there is an abuser, and we go from there. And she's asking, well, what happens afterwards? Like, where does the other partner go? And Lucy's like, well, if you don't have any family or friends that can take care of you, you can just go to the shelter and you'll be fine there. Again, this is all like saying, I was like in my head, like, okay, they're not doing because I honestly thought for a second, like, okay, maybe they will be doing the Chen for sex stuff, but like, nope, they're doing the storyline, which I'm like, honestly, this is a real problem, and TV shows have tackled this in very smart ways in recent years, and it's still a problem that persists here today. But before I continue any further, and I'm going to try and speak this very sincerely, if you are in a domestic abuse or within domestic violence relationship, please go contact someone. There are plenty of resources out there to help you out. There are a lot of people out there. Also, contact your friends, contact your families. There's definitely someone willing to help you. Whether they are your close confidants or not, there will always be someone to help you. You are not alone. So, back to the rookie. Eventually Lucy starts picking up the fact, like, okay, that's a very specific question. Because normally when you ask a question that's very specific to that, there's always a reason. And Lucy presses a little bit, like asking about the boyfriend and everything. And it's starting to give up some, very much red flags right now. Even Lucy goes to the computer to check the supposed boyfriend is getting a divorce from his ex-wife, and who already took custody of their kids. And she already filed a restraining order against it for domestic violence. So Lucy knows something's up, but of course, until the woman right here can confess to there is domestic violence at play, she can't act on anything right now. She'll be just acting off speculation. They leave it at that there for now. So after Nolan does the 10 call, Harper and Lopez get a pig on the phone for the kid that Damien was handling and taking care of. They go to an abandoned kitchen, and they're looking around. The way Selena describes it, it's like literally the chamber of pure evil, and they start getting into this like whole philosophical. I can't even pronounce English. I apologize. This entire like spiritual conversation about like, is there really such a thing as true evil? Which yes, there is. And they're looking around. They're all feeling it too. No one picks up on this like very freshly put piece of drywall, which I'm like, this place is about to be demolished. Why would anyone put a fresh drywall there? Which I'm like, that's honestly pretty smart, Nolan. That's, thankfully your construction knowledge has once again saved the day again. He busts open the wall. They look inside and they find 3 dead bodies, all covered in plastic wrap. They left the cell phones there, which I'm like, bro, if you're trying to hide the body, there's clearly someone that cares about these kids. I mean, if it wasn't for the one guy, someone else would have done it. But yeah, so they left the cell phone there. They find, I think, 3 bodies there. They're ready to go process it. Selena's, this being her first time in this world, she gets a little dizzy, a little confused about like what the reality of this is. Like, stuff like this is gonna happen. This is stuff that you gotta have to like get used to seeing on the job, because that's how life is sometimes. Nolan pulls aside Harper and Lopez to see what the play is, obviously because this kid and the other 2 were most likely associated with a gang, and they're like, this has to be a message somehow, like, there's something up here. And she's like, yeah, it's probably like this one gang leader with this other gang leader trying to start a war, because once Elijah fell into power last year, a lot of his territories started opening up, so they've been fighting for those territories. Which honestly, it is something that is like, yeah, it's a little scary, because like, yeah, you knock off one person off the board, but there's still plenty of other chess pieces in play that you really can never win the war, because like, even when you take out maybe majority of them, there's always new one ripening to take over the places, because they know the opportunity is there. So it's really a never ending cycle. So they decide to like, give them like a fair warning message. It's like, okay, this thing happened. It's unfortunate. It sucked, but we do not need to escalate this further. We could just end this now and move the heck on with our lives. So they head over there. Nolan and Selena head over to the place of the gang leader who got his members affected, who were killed, and Lopez and Harper go after the other guy who they suspect were the ones who committed this act. So yeah, they head over there, and they're obviously one side's like, you know what, it's chill. It sucks, but I'm not one for retaliation. And then stupidly, one of the gang members, like, once he hears that, like, he chuckles like, you fucking idiot. You don't fucking chuckle, you dumb. Even the gang is like, oh, come on. And he's trying to smile. It's like, maybe they won't notice. Maybe they won't notice. Like, bro, we are not idiots. They are not idiots. What do you think you're doing? And then, yeah, he's already put something in motion. Yeah, he sent his team over to go shoot out the other hideout. The leader for that one leaves already, so they all know like it's all connected somehow, that this is just the beginning of a gang war. But however, that's the end of their shift, so they have to head off back home. Lucy ends her Citizens Academy. She passes over to the woman, and she gives her like one last piece of like, just making sure, do you have problems at home? Is everything all right? And while she doesn't verbally confirm it, Lucy's like, well, you know what? I got a connection at the shelter. If you want a place to stay for tonight, I can definitely hook you up with a bed. If you just want at least a night away from him, just to like, you could really think about it. And she's like, yeah, I'll do that. So they leave it there. Lucy heads over to the baseball practice led by none other than Coach Bradford, which I'm like, Bradford, you are just not cut out to be a coach. You're just not. I'm sorry, man. You're great at many, many things. Hopefully many more things. But the fact of the matter is, you're just not great at this. Lucy shows up, gives a little struck, gives a little like, a little bit of a spin on it. Again, this is this, as much as I know Chenford fans wanted the thing to happen, I do understand that. I swear, the moment that ever happened, it'll break the internet. I'm pretty sure everything will break the internet for the rest of our lives with this show being on air. It's whether it's the sex or a wedding or when they have kids. Who the heck knows? It's never gonna end. It really isn't. Like it'll just become like, it'll just be like a normal thing eventually in due time. But anywho, so yeah, even after practice, Jenny knows, it's like, hey, you two make a really great team. Which I'm like, don't they? It's like, it's weird. Like they're sort of like a cut of the same cloth. It's just they had 2 very different outlooking perspectives, but spending all that time together made them like realize of each other's, strengths and weaknesses, and it complemented each other to the point of like when they're actually dating, it definitely helps things a little bit, which I'm like, that's honestly pretty cool. Chen gets a call, however, from the woman, from the person from the shelter saying that she's been causing a little trouble. She's been asking for one specific person, but obviously they're not disclosing for that information. So she decided to leave. Lucy goes outside the shelter to go find her. And she's, again, like, brushing it out, like, oh, it's fine. Like, I decided to stay with a friend. Don't worry about it. Which I'm like, no, that's not true. It's actually the guy who came to pick her up, which apparently means that the guy was trying to get her to go find the kids so that she could bring them up, which I'm like, I don't even know how that was even going to work. I don't even know how old the kids are, but I'm like, that was like a very far shot plan. Even Lucy gives her the opportunity, like, you don't have to get in this car. You can still walk away from this. Come with me. We'll find you another place. But she's like, no. She goes alongside with the guy, and they drive off. I want to say later that night, Nolan and Bailey head off to go see the tenants again. See if they, give them a little tough love this time. No more Mr. Nice, Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy. It's a tough love situation. They open the door. It's a cameraman. It says, like, here for the shoot. I'm like, oh no. Oh, no. Yeah, apparently the couple rents out the house for porn shoots. Adult film shoots, whatever you want to call it. But I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, for location fees, they get charged $1,500, which I'm like, that's $6,000. It's no 3 to 4 times a week. That's like a lot of money. They can make their entire rent back in 1 week and stuff. They can own a house. What's the point of doing the tenant thing? Well, honestly, it makes sense. Like, those are squatters. They're like a very complicated form of squatter. We're like, hey, they don't look the issue, but then when you get to know them, they're like, no, they're not good people. They're really not. And the good thing is that when they're tenants, they don't have to pay the mortgage. They don't have to pay anything. They'll just keep playing the cards. And like, yeah, even Selena gave a good example. Like, with all the new regulations and everything, they can literally change the locks legally because active protection. And they could also squat there. And by the time you get all the paperwork done, all the court fees done, you lost so much money. And it's not to say that you lost money. Like, they're not taking value from your house, but it's also like you rented that house for the reason of making money off it, and you're not getting that money. The money's there. They have the money. They just don't want to pay it. So they're like completely baffled. They're completely shocked. So like, they don't really know what to do at this moment, but all Bailey knows is like, I'm going to actually kill him. I'm going to kill an elderly couple over here. I want to say, I don't know if anything else happens this night. I think we just cut to the next day where Wesley's there, already giving legal advice to Lucy and Bradford about like what could like the next steps be for her, with her being at this point, specifically in a domestic violence relationship. And Wesley's like, nothing. Like, this is a very like finicky subject with opinions and statements that even when they're arrested, they could still change their statements because they have a change of heart, or maybe like, if I give them one more chance, maybe they'll change their minds. Like, I know it's never the case, but still, even Bradford gives an experience when he was a P2, where he witnessed a couple, the wife, the partner came back in and out at a time, even getting that guy arrested sometimes, but it would always be the same scenario where she would come back to him and eventually he killed her. It happens. That's the reality of it. It sucks, but sometimes you gotta like, take a leap of faith and like, no, this is wrong. This is really, really wrong. So at the same time, Nolan and Selena show up. Nolan asks the question about the squatters. And, what's like the same thing? Like, your hands are tied. Like, yeah, you can do the legal paperwork. Like, they definitely went long past the time of, like, rent payment. But, by the again, once again, it's a system. It's a process. You got to kick them out legally. That takes a while. And that could be 3 months at best case scenario. So they also lose 3 months of potential rent, which sucks. And he's like, well, I can't believe they're making all this money from the adult video shoots and they can't even pay their rent, which I'm like, whoa, hold on. Wesley's the man with the plan over here is like, yeah, you can expedite that. Because technically they're only renting for property. They don't have the permission to rent this out for a porn shoot. You can definitely fight them on this. You can definitely expedite this case faster, which is great for them, for Nolan to hear. Also, I love how everyone just pushes on Nolan's like, yeah, you're kind of a pushover. Like, you're very tough when you're on the field, but when you're in private, when you're like, doing these public social activities, you are a teddy bear. And I'm so sorry to admit this, Nolan. You are a teddy bear. I'm very sorry to say that. So yeah, we split off on the fields. Actually not yet. Gray calls in Lopez and Harper for a little meeting. There was no updates during the night. No gang activities occurred in terms of like, an actual counterattack or anything. Which is very odd and suspicious. Like, there definitely would have been something by this point right now, but there isn't. So that's very weird. Dominic shows back up again, or Dominic or Damien, I forget which one it was already. He shows back up, explaining that, like, well, he is sorry for the passing of one person. He has another person that he's rehabilitating. That's giving him the tip that one of the other gangs are moving drugs today at a certain time. And Lopez is like, wait, hold on. I thought you said your guy was in the other gang. It's like, yes. And it's like, okay, all of this is just way too coincidental. This is definitely planned, dude. Like, someone's definitely planning this out. This is definitely a coup to take out one gang without losing any more members. Which I'm like, yeah, fair thinking. That would definitely be a solid strategy. However, they cannot let this opportunity go. This would be a really big drug bust if they're able to act on this tip. So they have no choice but to act on it. But they'll find a way to see if they can nail both sides of the war table right now with one fell swoop. So Lopez and Harper recruit Bradford and Aaron to go out there. They're waiting for the truck. The truck does get dropped in. They arrest them. They find the drugs hidden in these. I don't even know what these things are. They look like filter containers for like airlocks. I don't remember, but they found the drugs, and it all seems this is all too peachy. This is all going so well. This is not how it's supposed to go. And yet the other gang shows up with their members. They start shooting up the truck, trying to kill everyone on site. Eventually, between 4 against 3, they eventually lose. They get everyone down. And again, like, this is all really, really weird because remember, why would someone originally plan to take out someone without losing more members if you're sending your own members into the crossfire? All of this makes really absolutely no sense. And, honestly, they all have a point. They really did. Like, none of this makes sense. So they regroup back with Dominic and and his, like, CI, his, like, the kid that he's, like, tutoring. And, they're asking the question, like, how did you know this? If this goes against that, but this doesn't work out. And, he's like, well, they're thinking there's a third party involved. Like, there's someone else that wants to wipe both of them off the board at one swoop. And he's like, I can't say it. I can't do it. He's going to kill me. And Logan's like, we promise no one will kill you. We will put you with protection. You will be all right. And he admits he got paid $5,000 to give the information to the PD. And this is all led by none other than Elijah, which I'm like, motherfucker, yes. I knew this nice guy shtick would not. I know it wasn't a shtick. He was definitely playing a long game, and now he's acting. Now he's on the move. I am expect of this, and I'm like, I'm really happy. Again, I'm a big fan of Brandon J. McLaren since 2005, and I know he's got a plan. He's got a plan. He's gonna do some shady stuff, right? Like, to be the king. He already was the king, but like, he's gonna be the king of the kings. And I think that's going to be the end game for season 5. That's what I think. That he's going to take over everything. How will that work out? I really don't know, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, Lopez and Harper gets blindsided by this. Like, even though they had some major wins today, they definitely played into Elijah's hand. And Graves, like, warning them, like, y'all got to be careful. Like, he already beat y'all once in a legal matter. If you played the wrong card too early or too late, he will destroy your careers. So we got to find a really good way to approach this. Without him, like, gaining any more territory. And also, yeah, Harper pulls aside Grace, like, yeah, Lopez and Wesley cannot be involved in this matter. This will be a very personal conflict of interest. They cannot be involved, which I'm like, yeah, that's obviously the fair choice here. Lucy is back on patrol finally, and she gets a call from the woman saying that, yeah, I made a mistake. He's being violent right now. I'm scared for my life. Can you come over and get me? So Lucy heads over. She breaks in through the door. She finds the guy already holding her at choke point. She says, like, it's over. You're getting arrested, and he's like, I don't care. I'll add assaulting to it. Assaulting human, killing a police officer to my charges. I don't care. So they engage. Lucy obviously is able to beat him down pretty quickly. This guy's a scrawny bastard. Like, he has nothing really. Like, thankfully, he has a couple of swift moves, but like, she took him down easily. However, she did lose her gun in the process, and the girl took over the woman takes over the gun. And again, it's the same thing like Wesley said. Like, they change their minds often. Like, she said, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, but, I need to give him another chance. I made the mistake. He only reacted because I reacted the wrong way. He did nothing wrong. Which I'm like, it hurts to see. It really does. But that is honestly a true thing. That, everything we've seen is very true. That has happened. Lucy thankfully manages to talk her out of it, manages to calm her down, and, like, puts her under arrest for, obviously threatening a police officer, so she has no choice but to arrest her. But at least she's safe and out of that abusive relationship in one way. So that definitely is a win for them. And then we head over to some happy times. We get Bradford and Chan's first co-coaching game. It does not go 100% well, but the kids are having fun, which honestly is the most important thing. At this point in their lives, playing sports is not for competition. It's mainly for fun. And that was the victor here. Also, Harper and Lopez showed up there for one of the dads. I'm like, I don't know why exactly they're there for. I may have lost a side story or storyline for a second, but like they're there for some reason to arrest him. But they're like, you know what? We'll let you watch the game, and then we'll arrest you peacefully. So just keep your mouth shut and let's just watch the game. Which I might. Smart move. Harper and Lopez definitely the right people to be detectives and would be the right people to arrest me if anything happens. Which I hope never happens to me. I hope. And then the episode ends with Nolan and Bailey like ready to finally kick them out once and for all. They got everything they need and they go into the house and they're gone. Which I'm like, the fuck, and they took everything. They took everything except Bailey's bed. Which I'm like, they took everything. Which I'm like, what the fuck? Like you literally took everything. Like everything is gone. Like these people are pieces of crap. And like and Bailey's like, should we just put on an APB, try and find them? And no one's like, nah, they're probably halfway across another state by this point. It makes no sense. We got the house to ourselves now, so like they're gonna sell it and put it back on the market with some handiwork by John and Bailey too. Yeah, Bailey's like, you know what, I won't let you do everything by yourself. But I'm like, I love this couple so much. I really do. And that was the end of this week's episode of The Rookie. Again, I think this was a really great episode. I really did. I think this definitely handled a very tricky subject material very well. They continued the Chen first storyline again in a nice organic way, guys. It doesn't have to be horny. I know you guys want it. I know. But it will come. It will come in due time. Also getting to see Bailey and Nolan back together again. Like, it's been a while since we see them on the screen together, actually doing like a couples thing again. And, dealing with like the reality that is squatter. That's another true thing that it's hitting home to me. Honestly, everything was great. All the storylines was great. Obviously setting up Elijah's, bigger plan in motion, which again, breadcrumbs. But, once we eventually get to that moment where like we actually get to see Elijah's big moves, it's going to be crazy. I guarantee you. I feel like he will probably, Rosalind was the master in murder and manipulation. Elijah is a chess player. He is playing them like a fiddle right now, and he will strike when it's convenient for him. And he has in very smart ways that they noticed, but they didn't really know the larger scope until later. But for right now, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. Great episode all around. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of The Rookie. Let's start the conversation down below as always. But I believe that's going to do for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in 2 from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 5th season of The Rookie. If you want to know what we're doing normally What's in 2 besides our Rookie episode reviews, we are currently doing Rookie Feds episode reviews, which comes out tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that. This week, later on, we come back with Walker episode reviews on Thursday nights, and then also the next day, Walker Independence episode reviews on Friday mornings. So stay tuned for there. But unless you are a big fan of just The Rookie, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review. So stay tuned until then. But until that point comes, thank you so much for watching again. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring the bell for notification when our next episode review is live. Please also like, favorite, share, and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you members of the Rookie Nation, the Rookie fam out there, I'll see you all next week. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.